All right, hey everyone, welcome back. So today we're diving into this really heavy, really complex story.
Yeah,
You guys already know about Mohbad,
right.
the Nigerian musician who died so tragically in September 2023.
Absolutely.
And all the controversy, just all the questions surrounding his death.
Oh, yeah.
But there's a new development in the story that I wanted to focus on today.
Okay.
Mohbad's wife, Wunmi, she's speaking out about the harassment that she and her son are now facing.
Wow.
And it's a really emotional plea. It brings up all these questions about justice and about cyberbullying and really about just the whole power dynamics within the Nigerian music industry.
Right.
It's a lot to unpack. We're going to be looking at this article, Mohbad, Wife's Plea Against Bullying of Son, today.
Okay.
So yeah, I mean, it's just a tragic situation.
Really is. And I think, what's really disturbing here is how this case just exposes that dark side of fame.
Yeah.
Especially in a complex industry like Nigerian music.
Oh, yeah. And especially, I mean, Mohbad was on the rise. He was so talented.
Absolutely.
He had a massive following. The Imole army, they call themselves.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And Imole actually means light in Yoruba.
Right.
Which kind of gives you chills, given what happened. But even with all of his success, there are all these rumors swirling around about bullying and threats.
Yeah. I mean, that's a really important point to remember. The Nigerian music scene, I mean, it's known for its competition. It's fierce.
Yeah.
And a lot of the power structures, they're pretty opaque. So you can imagine for young artists up and coming, it's incredibly difficult to navigate. And the pressure is intense.
Oh, yeah. From all sides, too.
Yeah.
From inside the industry and out. And now Wunmi is grieving. I mean, she just lost her husband.
Right.
And she's saying that she and her son are facing those same intimidation tactics. I mean, listen to this. This is a direct quote from her. "The bullying that happened to my husband is now happening to my son."
Wow. I mean, that sends chills down your spine. That statement, that's not just some online trolling.
Right.
That suggests a continuation of whatever was happening to Mohbad, a pattern. And it's targeting the people closest to him, even after he's gone.
It's like they're trying to silence anyone who might speak up about what happened. And Wunmi's dealing with these relentless online attacks, accusations with no evidence, just people picking apart everything she does online. It's awful.
It's like social media weaponized.
Yeah.
Especially in these high-profile cases, public opinion is a court. And it can be brutal.
Yeah.
And it sounds like she's bearing the brunt of it. Even the custody arrangements for Mohbad's son, it's all wrapped up in this tension.
Wait, the custody battle. I hadn't thought about that. You think that could be part of the intimidation too?
Possibly, yeah.
Like someone trying to control Mohbad's legacy through his son?
It's a theory. It's definitely worth thinking about. And remember, before he died, Mohbad had said he was being bullied by people in the industry, powerful people,
Right.
with a lot of influence.
So you're saying this custody battle could be another part of that power struggle?
It's not out of the realm of possibility.
Man, that's a lot.
Yeah.
There are so many layers here.
Definitely.
Yeah, and it makes you wonder, like, who benefits from silencing her?
Right.
And what are they so afraid of? It just brings up all these questions about the culture in the Nigerian music industry. Like, what's really going on behind the scenes?
Yeah, exactly. And if what she's saying is true, it really suggests that there's this, this toxic environment where they use bullying, they use intimidation just to maintain control and silence anyone who might speak up against them.
Yeah.
It makes you wonder, how many other artists are going through this silently because they're afraid.
Yeah. They're afraid to speak up. And when you think about the emotional toll on Wunmi, on her son.
Oh, absolutely.
They're already dealing with this unimaginable loss.
Of course, yeah.
And now they have this pressure and this scrutiny on top of it. What support is out there for people in this kind of situation?
That's a really important question. And unfortunately, I think the legal framework around cyberbullying, even in a country like Nigeria where they have relatively strong laws, it struggles to keep up with how fast online harassment tactics are changing.
So even though the laws are there, they might not be enough to protect someone like Wunmi?
Exactly. The internet, it's anonymous, it's so vast, it makes it really hard to hold anyone accountable.
Right.
And proving intent, and then proving the damage, like the psychological harm it causes, that's really hard to do in court.
Wow. So that's another layer of complexity on top of this already impossible situation. What about the music industry itself, though? I mean, are there ways for people to report abuse in the industry?
It's tricky. The Nigerian music industry, like a lot of entertainment industries around the world, they have a history of putting profits before people, and there's a power imbalance, especially for new artists. They rely on certain labels, certain people for their success.
Right.
So they don't want to jeopardize that.
Yeah, they're afraid to speak up.
Exactly. Speaking out could get them blacklisted.
Wow.
Or worse. And this case, I think it really highlights how we need more transparency in the industry. We need more accountability.
It seems like there's a lot that needs to change to make things safer for these artists.
Yeah.
But focusing back on Wunmi and her son, what can be done to protect them now?
Well, there are a few things we can look at. For one, the legal frameworks around cyberbullying, those need to be stronger. The laws need to be updated, right?
Yep.
They need to reflect how online harassment is evolving, and we need to make sure that victims have some recourse.
So pushing for legislative change is one step.
Right. Social media platforms, they have a responsibility here too. They need to be better at removing abusive content.
Right.
And they need to provide more support to the people who are being harassed.
Yeah, so create a safer online environment.
Yeah.
But what about the people who are already doing this? Is there any way to change their behavior?
I think education and awareness are key here. We need to teach people about digital literacy, about critical thinking, so they can understand the impact of what they do online.
So you're saying it's about empathy.
Absolutely.
It's about understanding that there's a real person on the other side of the screen.
100%.
Someone who's being hurt by these words.
Right. And we need to break the silence around this issue.
Yeah.
We need people to feel empowered to speak out, not just online, but in real life, too.
Against bullying, against harassment.
Yeah.
It's about creating that culture of accountability where people are held responsible for what they say and do. But realistically, how do we achieve that? It seems like such a big goal.
It's a long road, but it starts with us, every one of us. We can contribute to a more positive, more supportive online world. We can choose our words carefully. Think about the impact our actions have on other people. And we can speak up. When we see injustice, we need to call it out. And there are organizations out there fighting against cyberbullying, promoting digital literacy.
Okay.
We can support them.
So it sounds like there are things we can do.
Yeah.
Even if they seem small.
Right.
But what about Mohbad's legacy? What do you think the lasting impact of this case will be?
It's tragic, but I think Mohbad's case could actually be a catalyst for change.
Yeah.
I mean, it's shown a light on this really dark side of the industry. And it's gotten people talking about how to protect artists and holding people accountable.
It's just sad that it takes something like this.
Yeah.
This horrible tragedy to get people to pay attention.
Absolutely.
But I do hope that, his legacy will be that there's real change.
Yeah.
That some good can come out of this.
I agree with you. And I think we're already seeing people coming together to support Wunmi and her son and pushing for these broader changes in the industry.
Right.
And the Imil Army, Mohbad's fans, they've been instrumental in keeping the pressure on for a thorough investigation and for justice to be done.
They have been so vocal online. I mean, organizing protests, demanding accountability. It's really inspiring to see how dedicated they are to his memory.
Yeah. It shows the power of collective action, and how important it is to use your voice, to speak up for what's right.
And this isn't just about Mohbad and his family. This is about creating a better environment.
Right.
A safer and more just environment for all artists, especially those who are just starting out or who maybe don't have that same level of power and influence.
You're absolutely right. This case has implications for the whole entertainment industry, not just in Nigeria. I mean, globally. And I think it's a reminder that behind all the fame and fortune, behind all the glitz and glamour, there are real people who are vulnerable to being taken advantage of, to being abused.
So what can we do? What can our listeners do to help create that positive and supportive environment?
Well, there are organizations out there fighting this fight, combating cyberbullying, promoting digital literacy. We can support them. We can have these conversations.
Right.
Online, offline.
Yeah.
And most importantly, if you see something happening, say something.
Right.
Don't be a bystander when you see bullying or harassment.
Yeah, because silence just protects the abuser.
Yeah.
Speaking up, even if it's just in a small way, it can really make a difference.
It can. It's about changing the culture,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
It's about creating a culture where empathy and respect, where accountability, those are the norm, not the exception. And that's something worth fighting for.
Yeah, I think that's a great place to end our conversation today. It's been heartbreaking, this deep dive into Mohbad's legacy, but it's also a call to action. And we want to know what you think. What are your thoughts on all of this? Keep the conversation going. Use the hashtag #JusticeForMohbad.
Yeah, let's honor his memory by working towards a world where every artist feels safe, feels respected, and feels empowered to share their art without fear.
Thank you for joining us on this deep dive.
Yeah.
Until next time, stay curious, stay informed, and stay engaged.